5 boundaries that will make you earn respect in every relationship. You know, one of the most powerful things you can do in life is set boundaries. I'm not talking about walls that keep people out, but boundaries that define who you are and what you stand for. Boundaries are like the invisible lines in the sand that tell others, "This is where I end, and you begin." But they also teach us about our own strength, self-respect, and capacity for growth. Think about this. Have you ever respected someone who constantly let others walk all over them? Probably not. And that's because respect doesn't come from being passive or allowing yourself to be pushed around. It comes from knowing your worth and standing firm in it. Now, why do I bring this up? Because today, we're talking about 5 boundaries that women, in particular, deeply respect. These boundaries aren't just rules or guidelines. They're fundamental to building strong, healthy relationships, whether that's with a partner, friends, family, or even yourself. And here's the thing: when you set these boundaries, not only will you earn the respect of others, but you'll also start to respect yourself in ways that might surprise you. It's easy to think of boundaries as something that holds us back or limits our freedom, but in reality, boundaries give us the freedom to be our authentic selves. They give us the strength to say, "This is who I am, and this is what I stand for." And in doing that, we not only gain the respect we deserve, but also create the space for the best parts of ourselves to shine. So, today, I want to take you on a journey. We're going to explore these 5 powerful boundaries and why they matter so much. And let me be clear, this isn't just for women. Whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're in a relationship or not, learning these boundaries will transform the way you approach life and the people in it. As we go through these, I encourage you to ask yourself, am I setting these boundaries in my own life? Am I respecting myself and others in these ways? Because the truth is, respect isn't just something you wait to receive. It's something you cultivate through your actions, your words, and most importantly, your boundaries. Are you ready? Let's dive in and see how setting the right boundaries can change the way you walk through the world. Part 1. The boundary of self-respect. Knowing your worth. Let's talk about the most important boundary of all: self-respect. This is where it all begins. Before you can expect others to respect you, you have to respect yourself. I know, that sounds like a simple concept, right? But it's much deeper than just liking yourself or thinking you're great. It's about truly knowing your worth and never compromising on it, no matter who's in your life. Think about this for a second. When was the last time you put yourself first? When was the last time you said, "No, this isn't right for me," or "I deserve better than this"? Because that's what self-respect is all about. It's about standing up for what you believe in, making choices that align with your values, and never settling for less than you deserve. Here's the truth, women. Just like anyone else, respect someone who knows their own value. It's magnetic. People can sense when you're confident and comfortable in your own skin. But confidence doesn't just appear overnight. It's something you cultivate through your actions, your thoughts, and the way you treat yourself. And don't get me wrong, this isn't about being arrogant or acting like you're better than everyone else. Self-respect is quiet. It's subtle. It's about walking into a room and not feeling the need to shrink down or apologize for taking up space. It's about owning your choices, standing by your decisions, and not needing validation from anyone else. And believe me, that's something that commands respect. The good news is, self-respect can be built. You don't have to be born with it. You can practice it every day. Start by setting boundaries with yourself. Don't let anyone treat you in ways that you know are beneath your standards. Whether that's in how they talk to you, how they value your time, or how they show up for you. You teach people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. So, if you're constantly letting yourself slide, if you're letting others push you around or disrespect you, you're telling the world that it's okay, and it's not. So, take a moment and think about this. Where do you need to start respecting yourself more? Is it in your relationships, your job, or the way you take care of your health? Are you allowing yourself to stay stuck in situations where you're not getting the love, care, or respect you deserve? It's time to start changing that. Start small. Speak up for yourself. Make decisions that honor who you are and what you want in life. Remember this: the more you respect yourself, the more others will respect you. It's that simple. So, what's one thing you can do today to show yourself the respect you deserve? Part 2. The boundary of communication, expressing needs clearly. All right, now that we've talked about self-respect, let's dive into another huge boundary: communication. This is one of those things that's often overlooked, but it's essential to any relationship. If you want someone to respect you, you need to be able to express your needs clearly, without hesitation. You know, one of the biggest issues I see in relationships is miscommunication. People aren't saying what they need or want, and that leads to frustration, confusion, and, ultimately, resentment. If you're not clear about what you need, how can anyone respect that? How can anyone know where they stand with you if you're not being open about your expectations? Here's a simple truth. Women respect clear communicators. Whether it's about feelings, boundaries, or just everyday needs, being able to communicate honestly and directly is a sign of strength. It shows that you're not afraid to express yourself and that you're willing to be vulnerable in order to create a stronger connection. But here's the catch. Communication isn't just about speaking your mind. It's about speaking your truth in a way that's respectful to both you and the other person. There's a big difference between expressing yourself in an open, honest way and unloading your frustrations in a way that's hurtful or aggressive. The goal isn't to win the conversation or get your way. It's about having an authentic exchange that respects both people's needs and feelings. When you communicate clearly, you're also giving others the chance to meet you where you are. Imagine if you told someone what you needed, whether it's emotional support, respect, time, or space, and they could actually meet those needs. How would that feel? Pretty amazing, right? It's a game changer. So, how can you become a better communicator? First, be honest about what you want and need. Don't assume that people can read your mind. If you need space, say it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, share that. If something is bothering you, bring it up in a calm, thoughtful way. Be direct, but kind. And don't just communicate your needs. Also listen to the needs of others. Respect is a two-way street. And here's another tip: avoid passive-aggressive behavior. You know, when you say one thing but mean something else, or when you expect someone to read between the lines. That kind of communication doesn't build respect, it builds frustration. Be straightforward. Let people know where you stand and what you need, and they'll appreciate you for it. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about the last time you were in a conversation where you were frustrated, or maybe you weren't able to express yourself clearly. How did that go? What could have been different if you had communicated your needs more effectively? Is there someone in your life right now who you need to have an honest conversation with? Take that step. Your relationships will thank you for it, and you'll earn a whole lot more respect in the process. Part 3. The boundary of personal space. Respecting physical and emotional distance. Now, let's talk about personal space. This is one of those boundaries that sometimes gets a little tricky. When I say personal space, I'm not just talking about physical distance, but also emotional space, the space you need to recharge, think, and grow without feeling pressured by others. We all need space. It's normal, it's healthy, and it's necessary. But here's the thing: a lot of times, people don't respect that space. Whether it's a partner, a friend, or even family, there's this expectation that you're always available, always present, always giving of yourself. But here's the truth: no one can give their best self if they're constantly being drained without the time or space to replenish. Women, and honestly, everyone, respects people who know how to manage their own space and respect the space of others. Imagine this: you've just had a long, stressful day. and you're feeling mentally and physically exhausted. The last thing you need is someone demanding your attention or needing something from you right at that moment. But if you're the kind of person who can say, "I need a little time to myself right now," and someone respects that, that's powerful. It's a boundary that not only protects your well-being, but also creates a sense of trust and understanding in your relationships. Personal space isn't just about getting away physically. It's about emotional distance too. Sometimes, you need time to process your feelings, reflect, or simply recharge your energy. Respecting your own space means saying no when you need to, and not feeling guilty about it. It's okay to want time to yourself. It's okay to say, "I need a break." And don't forget, respecting someone else's personal space is just as important. If someone tells you they need time alone, don't take it personally. It's not about you, it's about them. Just like you need your own space, so do others. Giving them that freedom shows you respect their boundaries, and that's something that will earn you their respect in return. Think about the relationships in your life, whether it's a partner, a friend, or a colleague. Do you respect their space? Do you honor their need for time alone or their need to recharge? And just as importantly, do you respect your own? If you feel like you're constantly on the go, always around others, never taking time to disconnect, then it's time to set that boundary. Because when you give yourself permission to have your own space, you'll be better able to show up for others and yourself. Part 4. The boundary of trust. Building and maintaining integrity. Now, let's dive into one of the most fundamental boundaries in any relationship: trust. Trust is the foundation of everything. Without it, no relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, can stand the test of time. Trust is something you have to earn, and once it's broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. But when you have it, it changes everything. When you trust someone, you give them access to your vulnerability, your thoughts, your heart. You let down your walls and allow yourself to be open and honest. And guess what? Women and people in general respect those who are trustworthy. They admire those who are dependable, who show up when they say they will, who do what they say they'll do. Building trust isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every day and being reliable. It's about doing what you say you'll do, even when no one's watching. And let me tell you, people notice that. When you follow through, when you stay true to your word, you show others that you can be counted on, and that earns you respect. But here's the hard part. Trust is fragile. It only takes one mistake, one betrayal, to break it. And once it's broken, it's hard to fix. But if you've built it, if you've worked to maintain your integrity, it becomes a solid foundation that others can rely on. Think about someone in your life who has earned your trust, whether that's a friend, a partner, or even a mentor. What makes them trustworthy? Is it their ability to listen without judgment? Is it the fact that they always keep their promises? No matter how big or small, we all have those people in our lives who show us what trust looks like, and we respect them deeply for it. So, here's the question. How are you showing up in terms of trust? Are you keeping your word? Are you being transparent and honest? Even when it's hard, trust isn't built overnight. It's something you earn through your actions. If you want respect in your relationships, you've got to be a person who can be trusted. This means no dishonesty, no sneaky behavior, and no secrets. Be open, be consistent, and most importantly, be true to your word. Think about the people you respect the most. Do they trust you? Do you trust them? If there's any area where trust is lacking, it's time to build that bridge again. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. Without it, nothing else can flourish. Part 5. The boundary of personal growth. Never stop evolving. All right, here we are. The final boundary: personal growth. This one is incredibly important. And honestly, it's something a lot of people overlook. You see, when you're not growing, when you're not evolving into a better version of yourself, it becomes easy to fall into a rut. Relationships can feel stagnant. Your work can feel uninspiring, and your self-esteem can take a hit. But growth, real, honest-to-goodness personal growth, it changes everything. Personal growth is about continually pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. It's about striving for more, not in a way that makes you feel inadequate, but in a way that inspires you to be the best version of yourself. Women, and really, anyone, respect those who are always striving to better themselves. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who isn't complacent, who isn't content with just good enough. The truth is, growth comes in many forms. It can be about learning new skills, exploring new passions, or simply becoming more self-aware. Maybe it's reading books that challenge your thinking, trying a new hobby, or getting out of your comfort zone and taking on new challenges. It's not about being perfect, it's about constantly learning, adapting, and evolving. Think about someone you know who is always trying to grow, whether it's personally or professionally. They seem to inspire you, don't they? There's a certain respect that comes from watching someone evolve, watching them rise to new challenges and embrace the journey of becoming better. It's a journey that doesn't stop, because as long as you're alive, there's always room to grow. When you stop growing, when you stop challenging yourself, your relationships, and your life start to feel stale, you begin to lose your spark. But the minute you embrace the idea of growth, whether it's through learning, travel, self-reflection, or new experiences, you reignite that spark. And that's when you become magnetic. You start attracting people who respect your journey and want to be a part of it. So how can you start fostering more personal growth in your life? Maybe it's time to take that course you've been putting off, or to travel somewhere you've always dreamed of. Maybe it's about starting a new fitness routine or learning to meditate. Whatever it is, growth isn't about a destination, it's about embracing the process. Start with small steps. Set goals for yourself and don't stop until you've achieved them. And remember, growth doesn't always look linear. It's messy. It's imperfect, but it's always worth it. Reflect for a moment. What's one area of your life where you'd like to grow? Maybe it's a career aspiration, or a personal project you've been putting on the back burner. Don't let fear or comfort stop you. Set a goal for growth and start working toward it today. You'll be amazed at the respect it garners from others and the confidence it brings you. Conclusion: building a life of respect. So, we've explored the 5 boundaries that make women, and really anyone, respect you. To recap, here they are. The boundary of self-respect, knowing your worth and never compromising on it. The boundary of communication, expressing your needs clearly and honestly. The boundary of personal space, respecting both your own and others' physical and emotional space. The boundary of trust, building integrity and being reliable in all your relationships. The boundary of personal growth, never stopping the journey of evolving and improving yourself. These boundaries aren't just rules you set for others, they're principles that guide how you live your life. By implementing them, not only will you command more respect, but you'll also gain a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. The more you honor these boundaries, the more you'll see them reflected in your relationships and your own self-esteem. But here's the thing, boundaries aren't always easy to maintain. There will be moments where people test them, where they push back. That's just part of the process. And even though it might feel uncomfortable at times, remember, setting boundaries is a way of showing love to yourself and to others. You can't truly care for anyone if you're not taking care of yourself. And that starts with respecting your own limits. The real magic happens when you start to see these boundaries not as limitations, but as a source of power. They become the framework for a life filled with respect for yourself and for those around you. When you set clear, healthy boundaries, you are telling the world, "This is who I am. This is what I need, and I expect to be treated with the same respect I give others. So, take a moment to reflect on your life and relationships. Which of these boundaries do you need to strengthen? Which one might need a little more attention? And most importantly, which one can you start putting into practice right now? The journey to a more respectful life is ongoing, but it starts with a single step. And remember, respect isn't just something you receive, it's something you cultivate through your actions, your choices, and the boundaries you set. So go ahead, set those boundaries, live by them, and watch how they transform your relationships and your sense of self. You deserve respect, and it starts with the boundaries you set today.